Welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy Presents, our MLB hitter breakdown for Tuesday, April 4th, 2017. As I said in the previous video, opening day, very, very strong day for me. Please read the articles. I dropped the link of the article into the videos in the description and as one of the cards that you can hover over and click on. It's worth a read. I mean, yesterday we had, like I specifically mentioned, play Peterson, Grandal, and Seager. And if you had that core of players, you will probably had pretty strong success in your cash games and tournaments. And I mean, I'm not going to be right every night. There's no way anyone's right every night. But I think that I'm giving you 3 hitters, I'm giving you 3 pitchers. That's just not enough information to go off of. I encourage you to read what I do, find what other people say, compare it to what you're seeing, and, you know, maybe it, at the very least, what it should hopefully do is reinforce what you believe on a player. There's nothing that I want to do less than take you off of somebody that you were on and have that person go off. And baseball's highly unpredictable. I get it, but on to the hitting for tonight. I'm going to try to keep it FanDuel based. 1 pick under 3K, 1 pick under 4K, 1 pick over 4K. I'm using FanDuel pricing, and tonight I'm going to cheat a little bit because there's one player on FanDuel that just sticks out like a sore thumb to me, and when I saw it, I was like, Lord have mercy. Since most of my action is on DraftKings, I hope the price there is as absolutely absurd as it is here on FanDuel, but nonetheless, that was not the case. I have to start things off tonight with Hunter Pence of the San Francisco Giants, 7,600 on Fantasy Draft, 2,500 on FanDuel, 4K on DraftKings. 2,500 for Hunter Pence going up against a lefty in a hitter-friendly ballpark. Not to mention the fact that clearly none of the other sites boo-booed like that. They all pretty much understood that Hunter Pence needed to be priced up, you know, within the top 20 bats in the outfield. But here's FanDuel, and they're just like, here, take him. So this is going to lead to very high ownership in cash games, very high ownership in tournaments, and it should be that way. I mean, you hate to have one of those situations where you're down one play, but you were yesterday with Kershaw in cash games, especially if you played on FanDuel. You only have one pitcher, so you had to look for the other spots in the lineup to differentiate yourself from the crowd. Pence, I think, is going to be chalk. Great history against Corbin. All the advanced statistics for Corbin are just awful in terms of WOBA, hard hit percent against righties, pull percent against righties, fly ball ratio, home run to fly ball ratio. Just everything comes up Hunter Pence tonight. Another guy comes up very heavily tonight is Gary Sanchez of the New York Yankees, 7,800 on Fantasy Draft, 3,400 FanDuel, 4K on DraftKings going up against Jake Odorizzi in Tampa tonight. And again, Odorizzi is another guy whose advanced statistics just negatively pop off the page in such a major way. Sanchez already has young success against him. He did not come through for us on opening night. I'm not expecting that to happen twice in a row. I think Sanchez is way underpriced on FanDuel, and it's going to be about 2 weeks until we see him around 4K unless he really struggles out of the gate, which is possible for a young player. Nonetheless, I'm willing to take a chance on Sanchez in my cash games and my tournaments tonight. I think that he's going to hit the ball out of the yard. Would not be surprised to see him with a very high score on this slate. Now, because we're using FanDuel pricing, we kind of run into a situation here if we're looking for players over 4K where you literally have like 10 players. You've got Mike Trout, Edwin Encarnacion, Chris Bryant, Paul Goldschmidt, Jose Altuve, Anthony Rizzo, Ryan Braun, Nolan Arenado, and Charlie Blackmon. Out of all those guys, to me, it actually came down to 3 different players: Mike Trout, Edwin Encarnacion, and Anthony Rizzo. Well, I would put Jose Altuve in there as well. I think I've settled on Mike Trout as being the guy I want to go after. Sean Manaea is just too young of a pitcher. He's hasn't been bad against any hitters, but he's clearly struggled far more with right-handed bats and left-handed bats, which is pretty typical of left-handed pitching. Mike Trout looking for a 3 out of 4 MVP for his shelf. I just think matchup's too good here. Yes, he's a high cost, but I think he's a really safe floor ceiling play, and he's a guy I'll want in my lineups tonight. And one of the things about Trout from last year was he really didn't get a lot of high ownership on a lot of nights because he plays on the West Coast, and people just don't like playing a lot of the West Coast players for whatever reason. He plays on a team that's horrible, and he's priced high, so people always try to get Trout-like production at lower costs, which means if you get Trout at 5% and he has a game where he has 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, a stolen base, a double, and he just goes off, which he's totally capable of, you don't have a lot of people around you that have him. People really do look past Mike Trout. So anyway, wrapping things up, that's a way too cheap on FanDuel, Hunter Pence, but playable everywhere else as well. Gary Sanchez, Mike Trout, thanks for joining us. Make sure to hit subscribe in the YouTube box below. Head over to researchfantasy.com. Sign up for our MLB mailing list. Head over to Facebook, like us there, follow us on Twitter at Research and Win, and join us again tomorrow.